All right, well, everyone, we have returned. It is time for the second part of our workshop. Yes, here we are at 2 a.m. on a Friday, you big bunch of nerds, talking about writing up characters, making compelling ones, etc. And I love you all for it, and I'm very appreciative of all of you. So we have about 40 people right now hanging out on a Friday night, wanting to learn about character creation, about writing compelling characters, and moving forward from there. And you trust me enough with your time to give you some things to think about. And let's make it interactive, all right? Let's make this now not just a lecture, but an interactive process where we are going to use a worksheet that has been developed in the workshop for making, well, in this case, NPCs. And to the extent that we're planning an outline of a novel, they're all NPCs because we're not playing these characters. We're writing the characters. Everything is within our control. If, we're not subjected to the whims of a 1 or the fancies of a 20. Which means that the stress is on us, that all of our words, all of our choices in presenting the actions, the thoughts, the consequences to build the world, etc., it's all purposeful. It doesn't accidentally end up in there. Everything is within our control. Unlike what happens as a dungeon master, where there's approximately 4 to 6 elements that are out of our control, let alone our own dice. But that's what makes it a fun game, right? And replace Dungeons and Dragons with whatever you want. Vampire the Masquerade or BattleTech. Both of those are games that you can talk to Macabre Derek about. If you want some tips, advice, you want to do some character creation or world building, or you want to learn the rules. But that applies to tabletop, right? We're sitting around, we're telling stories. And even if you're playing Magic, you are a character in a story. You are playing a very powerful wizard, a very powerful planeswalker. You have these spells that are based upon the people, things, and places you visited. Those spells are in your library or your deck. And you're dueling against another planeswalker for power or glory or whatever, bragging rights. For Ante? Do it. I don't know how many of you ever started playing Magic when Ante was a mechanic in the game. But that was actually a story component to the reasons why you'd play Magic, was to ante your cards to other wizards, right? To the victor go the spoils. But let's build a character, shall we? Now, Ravenstar has used some inspiration points to roll the flaw or secret of our main character. Simba's Bloody Mojo says whatever, so we'll definitely get you in there. All of you who have been watching at least for a little bit should have inspiration, which looks like this. Those are the channel points, and you can redeem those for a workshop dice roll. If you would like to roll the mannerism of our character, or when we get to occupation and history, then that could be race, class, background, subclass, alignment, a lot of those other variables. We can have some fun with that as well. So let's begin. Let's go. Now, we are not going to begin with occupation and history. We'll get to it. But like our villain, let's create the character of our character first before worrying about, is this a middle-aged character? Is this the young protagonist that you would find in anime, etc.? And in fact, Simba is still here with us. I will redeem your whatever roll And Simba's Bloody Mojo, will you please type exclamation point 1D20 into chat and let me know what is a significant appearance feature of our MC, our main character. Rolls an 8. Oh, we're missing fingers. Now, here's the curious part. Do we start out missing fingers? Or along the way in the story, do we lose them? How Ethan Winters are we in this regard? But this is a writing point for us to consider. All right, next up, Camp Custom Designs. Will you please type exclamation point 2D6 in chat? Roll it. Oh, we can, Sierra. In fact, Sierra Echo. Well, yeah, you know what? We can do this. Sierra Echo, I want you to type exclamation point 1D10. And while you're doing that, Camp Custom Design says that we have a high constitution, but a low wisdom. Our character, we don't need to provide the specific numbers offhand, is hardy, hale, and healthy, however, is oblivious and absent-minded. We're missing 2. All right. Now, what is a particular talent that our character has? Electronic Thought. I would like you to type exclamation point 1D20 into chat. Kragar, if you have a moment then. Hold on one moment, Kragar, and I could get your help creating this character. ET gives us a 6. We are great with children. I would like you to determine our character's mannerisms. Kragar, please type exclamation point 1D20 before you go off to bed if you don't mind. Lands on a 5. Enunciates overly clearly. Anne. Okay, Anne, you would... Foomph. Yes, Kragar. Anne would like to get in on this. So no specific role. So Anne, I guess we'll give you the next role here. I would like you to give me... How do we interact with people? How do we tend to interact with people? And you can let us know by typing exclamation point 1D12. Eight. Hot-tempered. Except with children. This might be building up his backstory. Now, useful knowledge, from the get-go, as the main character, 0, or at least that applies to the plot, which is what the villain is doing, or very little. This is a bit of a black box. I'm not worried about this at this moment. We can populate that based on some other things. Our ideal, here I think we're going to vary it, we will vary it a little bit, because we are going to be doing like a traditional build with other aspects of this character. I'm not worried about the NPC ideals offhand. We have ideal, we have 2 personality traits, although we kind of have that with our mannerism and interaction with others, we can still roll them just to see if we want to use those instead or how that'll work. But especially ideal, bond, and flaw. Let's go back to the player's handbook for those for our main character, and yours will carry over, Ravenstar, here in just a moment. So already, let's not consider anything else. We don't know we don't know how tall our character is. We don't know any of those specifics. But we have someone who's missing 2 fingers. High con, so we have someone who's has a great inner fortitude, someone who's probably survived some tough times. We have someone, though, who isn't necessarily observant. Maybe even kind of a Hodor-style figure. He does enunciate Hodor very clearly all the time. But something happened along our lives where we are a hot-tempered person. Are we frustrated with our background, where we live, with whom we live? Or maybe we're frustrated because we're alone. We don't exactly have all those details. Now, we could make them up just from this prompt alone. But that's not as fun as rolling it with you all in chat. And I'm going to take us over into our character builder. Low wisdom, missing fingers, hot-tempered, angered, a crime boss. Oh. Sarah Echo might be calling an Iwi that maybe we'll get a spy or criminal. Or maybe even a folk hero that got caught by the corrupt noble or something along those lines. Hi, Tio. Welcome. But before we get to the character build, there's a couple other things that I would like to bring up. I don't know, Tio. Do you have the notification bell pressed? Also, every time I go live, I do post it on Discord, on Twitter, and Facebook. There is a more in-depth character creation set of tables that is in Xanathar's Guide to Everything. And before we get into the details of the character, let's look at more the circumstances around our character. Now, for any of you curious, if you have Xanathar's at home, we're on page 61. If you don't have it, go to your friendly local game store tomorrow, or when it's appropriate, and pick one up. Support small business. If they've earned your business, if they are actually a friendly local game store and have earned that consideration. If not, I know a guy who could get you one. But if you're playing along at home, crack open your copy of Xanathar's Guide to Everything and open to page 61. This is simply telling you, yep, this is based on the player's handbook. And what did your character accomplish or experience before deciding to become an adventurer? What were the circumstances of your birth? How large is your family, and what sorts of relationships do you have with your relatives? Ideas, not rules. Even though these pages are full of tables and die rolls, they don't make up a rule system. In fact, the opposite is true. You can use as much or as little of this material as you desire. How and when to use, there's some circumstantial stuff depending on some characteristics we have, and you know what? If we cross that bridge, if we come to it, we'll cross it. So, first things first, our parents. You had parents, of course, even if they didn't raise you. To determine what you know about these people, use the parents table. If you want, you can roll separately on the table for your mother and your father. Use the supplemental tables as desired. So, Tio Most Frio, I would like you to type exclamation point 1D100 in chat. This is going to be for our father. Alright, so we do know who our father is. I don't know, it doesn't mean how close we are. And what about our mother? Who is hanging out in chat that can help us out? Someone who has not yet rolled, Or if you want to lock in a roll, you can redeem some channel points for that.
Sound a feasting horn.
Voodoo. Ethereal, thank you very much for the follow and welcome to the Hero Zone. All right, well, for those who are hanging out here, Ethereal, if you're here, I can call on you as well. Ravenstar, exclamation point 1D100, please. And y'all, don't be afraid to speak up. I'd love to have you roll some dice and help us. All right, so we did know both our parents. Now, for a little extra spice, let's find out which fantasy race our character will be. Sierra Echo, will you please type exclamation point 1D9 into chat? And we're going to go over to our manual of player character golems here. No, that's fine, Ethereal. If you want to sit back and listen, you can sit back and listen. If you want to participate, I can give you a command to type into chat to help us generate this character. And also, Ethereal, if you run into some problems with character creation, please ask in chat. Even though we're doing this exercise, there's no better time, especially making a character, than to help answer some questions you might have. 6, a half-orc character. Oh, all right. So this is going to open up. Yeah, hey, this is absolutely a place for newcomers to the hobby. In fact, Ethereal, if you have a moment, can you type exclamation point 1D8 into chat? So we know for sure that we are a half-orc. Lands on an 8. Both parents were half-orcs. Now, what about... All right, ET, real quick. Exclamation point 1D100. Real quick before you go. Exclamation point 1D100. Tell us where we were born. Not necessarily, ET. Depending on how the genetics work, it's a 25% chance. 77. We were born in a temple. All right. Now, do we have any siblings? I wonder. We are great with kids. Are those kids like little brothers or sisters that we might have? We will determine that upcoming, Orchid. In fact, Orchid, how many... Speaking of siblings, Orchid speaks up. I would like you to type exclamation point 1D10. Exclamation point 1D10 in chat, please. 2, we have no siblings. Oh, maybe that's why we're good with kids. Now we're on to family and friends. Anne wants to roll next. Who raised you, and what was life like for you when you were growing up? You might have been raised by your parents, by relatives, or in an orphanage. Or you could have spent your childhood on the streets of a crowded city with only your fellow runaways and orphans to keep you company. Use the family table to determine who raised you. All right, so next up, Anne, exclamation point 1D100, please. Oh, you want to donate your sister to be a sibling to our main character? Stops on an 89, so we were raised. No, both our parents were half orcs themselves. And raised me. Since we have no siblings, I was born in a temple. All right, let's see. Who else is hanging out here? Macabre Derek, I don't know if you're still here. Or Simba, if you're still hanging out. Camp Custom. If there's anyone else out there. Video Gothic. I think Zump went to bed. But don't be afraid to speak up. I'd love to call on you to help us make our character. All right, Derek, I need you to type exclamation point 3D6 in chat. Let's see. 8, 9. Modest. And this is a +0 modifier. And this is going to be a D100 roll. Simba, exclamation point 1D100. And Camp, I'll call on you for the next roll as well. $47. Apartment in a rundown neighborhood. All right, Camp Custom Designs. I don't know what our charisma modifier is, but I would like you to roll 3d6 in chat. Exclamation point 3d6. And Zeta, if you're hanging out, I need you to type exclamation point 1d18 in chat to let us know our background so we can keep going along with this expanded table. Camp Customs gives us a, let's see, 2 + 4 is 6 + 1 is 7. Gives us a 7, which is going to be others saw me as being different or strange, and so I had few companions. Or, depending on our charisma mod, I had a few close friends and lived an ordinary childhood. So let's put... From childhood, others saw me as being different or strange, and I had few companions. Or if high charisma, I had a few close friends and lived in ordinary childhood. Zeta tells us that our background is number 9. And background number 9 is a guild artisan merchant. Okay. A guild artisan merchant. Let's add that to our character here. A half-orc guild merchant. And specifically, what did we sell, or maybe what did our family sell that we might have inherited or learned from them? Let's see, who else is hanging out and can be called on? 37 of y'all. Hello, who's out there? Raven, if you're still out there, can I get a exclamation point 1d20 in chat? River Styx, I don't know if you're still hanging out. I think Bane went to bed. Maybe Brewfrost is out there still. Raven rolls a number 16. And so we're going to go to chapter 4 and find out which trade number 16 is for guild merchant or guild artisan. '16 smiths and metal forgers. Sierra Echo, I think I might know where we lost our fingers. All right. Next up, so Anne wanted to roll, and then I'll call on you, Goblin Town. Anne, will you please roll a 1d6 in chat? Three. I became a smith because I'll have to scoot that over a little bit here. Because one of my family members who belonged to the guild made a place for me. So maybe we weren't necessarily the best for the job, but they wanted to give us something to do. Or maybe it's just an inherited thing of, yes, we come from a long line of metal workers, and you're the next in line, so here you go. It could be nepotism. It could be, bless your heart, and was just given a job in that regard. We'll keep finding out. Thank you, Zeta. Now, Goblin Town. It's time that we learn which class we're rolling, because now we need to know where we got our class training. So, Goblin Town, will you please type exclamation point 1D13 into chat? Stops on a 3. A bard. Very interesting. Rip Artist. Welcome, Rip Artist. Please type exclamation point 1D12 in chat. If it's an odd number, we're a lore bard. If it's an even number, we are a valor bard. Even number, we are a valor bard. Now, we can roll for I became a bard because I almost want to say because we were a smith. This is where we get our sense of rhythm, and we get our sense of rhythm and our sense of just expressing ourselves through our now. Granted, actually, we were a merchant, so we sold metal goods more than made them ourselves. Maybe we started making them and lost our fingers, and then we were moved to the front counter. that could be the case. But you know what? Let's see where the dice roll just in case, and find out what this says. Sierra Echo, will you tell me with a 1d6 roll in chat why we became a bard? Five. I joined one of the great colleges to learn old lore, the secrets of magic, and the art of performance. I think we can still very much work with this. Absolutely. Okay, now we need to learn how old we are in order to have some life events happen to us with this extended table. Can I have... let's see, Ethereal, if you're still hanging out, will you please type exclamation point 1D100 into chat? And let's find out how old we are. Stops on a 9. We are, of course, we are the young adult protagonist. We are making an anime, my friends. Let's see, we are 9 plus 1d5 years. So I don't think I have a D5 command. I have a D6. I would like to roll something here. 1d6. Lands on a 2. We're young. All right. Young adult for half-orcs. Now, this is biological. I don't know in the world where adulthood lies culturally or legally or whatever. But we are a young, scrappy go-getter here. And so we've had one life event, probably in addition to losing some fingers. And to let's see, go along with this, Goblin Town, go ahead and give me a 1d100 roll. You know, I think someone said that the villain almost sounded a little bit like a Saturday morning cartoon villain. Maybe we're gonna write, maybe this is leaning in the direction that we're writing a young adult novel. Also, Hatter, let's get hype. Heck yeah. Raven, can you please give a shout out to Hatter? 57. You spent time working in a job related to your background? Alright, well then, start the game with some extra money. So nothing really changes with that. The story writes itself. Lost fingers, parents sent me to school so I'd stop bleeding in the forges. Sierra, I think it's making sense, and we're definitely we're telling a story here. These tables add detail to many of the results in the life events. I don't at 12. I don't know. I think we're writing our first adventure, so this could be something that maybe happens. Over the course of the adventure, but I'm not too worried because I think we're actually going to be telling the story of someone starting out in life and is being drawn into something that is greater than even he had hoped. So maybe we're not here. In fact, these can almost be rolled for some things that happen along the story. You know, being turned into a toad. So, all right. These other things could be fun for considering plot points, twists and turns. Not too worried about that. So now we're going to go up and we're going to fill in what we have yet to fill in here. Let's go over here. And we need Hatter. Will you please type exclamation point 1D100 into chat? Three. All right, so we have a female character. We already determined we're a half-orc, and we need our alignment. We're going to go with the Morg's distribution, as this is the penchant for good or neutral in a sense. So let's have... who else is hanging out here? Camp Custom, will you please give me a 1d100 roll? And anyone else out there, you are welcome. Hatter, paint me like one of your French girls. In that, you want some capsules? Or what would you like? Oh,
Paint
Tio
me
is
like
here?
one of your French girls. Lul, lul, lul.
Lul, lul, lul. $82? Oh. It looks like we're actually starting out with an edgy, lawful evil character. Oh, for the paint wheel, Hatter, my dude. Thank you. So... that should hopefully complete the necessary paint racks for Darkwolf and I to be able to put all the paints and such on those accessible wheels and really get a lot done here. Thank you, man. That means a lot. Yeah, Hatter is GOAT. Absolutely, Tio. Don't thank me like I'm nice. I have a reputation to uphold. All right, so we're starting out as maybe someone who's been embittered. We're selfish. We are a lawful evil young adult half-orc bard going into Valor. I mean, the Valor part might not come until the end of the story. If we're writing like a first-level adventure, a kid adventure, a young adult, we have a level 0 to a level 1 or maybe 2 character. And then if we want to continue the story of this character, then we can level her up along the way. Not worried if we're going to take any feats at this point. Oh! We come down to Guild, Merchant, Ravenstar, exclamation point, 3d6, please. And Hatter, let's catch you up to a couple of... Oh, actually, hang on. Anne cashed in some points. Anne, give me a 2d8 roll in chat. 2d8, please. Ideal is 2, Bond is 6, Flaw is 6. And Personality Bot, and we'll see how that mixes in with some of the other things above. Let's go back to the pahubba hubba hubba hey. And this is going to give us a personality trait, let's see, of 6 and 2. 6 says, I like to talk at length about my profession. And these are things we can develop over the course of the story as well. They all don't need to start out. And 2 is, I'm a snob who looks down on those who can't appreciate fine art. That might be where the selfishness comes into play as well. Ideal number 2, if we come over here, ideal 2 is generosity. My talents were given to me so that I could use them to benefit the world. Now, you might say, hold on, dude, you literally rolled lawful evil. It is impossible, improbable. It is 0 out of 10. Would not recommend anyone reading your story because it says in parentheses, good, after generosity. Disregard that. Generally, is that good? Yes. The ideal is something that we hope to achieve and can strive for. Can it be a realized ideal? Absolutely. You can, though, pilot an evil character. Now, I don't know if she's like burning down orphanages and kicking puppies in the street kind of evil. I think she's just more selfish, right? She's young, she's selfish, she's probably very self-conscious that she lost some fingers. And so she tries to hide it with an air of maturity for her age. A bit of a snob and a know-it-all to distract people from the fact that she did something dumb. She probably wasn't supposed to do it. She didn't listen to her parents, and she's missing some fingers for it. But she wants to. Maybe she wants to go back to the forge one day, not be relegated to the desk to just sell stuff. Maybe she wants to create something beautiful and prove to everyone that she can listen and she can do these great things. And that's her ideal that she hopes for, despite the fact that emotionally, she's just not there yet. All right, her bond was rolled to be number 6. I will get revenge on the evil forces. Oh no, that destroyed my place of business and ruined my and ruined my livelihood. I think we have a plot point, everyone. It might not even necessarily be in the past. This could be something upcoming. Pesquerios. Plot is happening around us. The story is writing itself, and we don't have to stress about it. It's unfolding before our very eyes. And what is our character's flaw? Because all of us are flawed creatures. Yes, you. I'm talking to you. You are flawed. Is that a bad thing? I don't know. But we all are. Which is why a tenet of this community is forgiveness. Because if you think that you don't have a flaw, therein is your flaw, so ha ha ha, I win. And the flaw that Raven generated was number 6. I'm horribly jealous of anyone who can outshine my handiwork. Oh no! They said hand, we're so sensitive about that. My handiwork. Everywhere I go, I'm surrounded by rivals. Alright, so this is probably a character who sees her missing fingers as a handicap that she cannot surmount, or that everyone who has a handicap somehow is a deficient person. Of course, that's not the case. And if we're going to tell a story about someone growing up and coming to terms with herself, I think this flaw is an excellent thing to be a motivational force. It is an impetus for the character throughout the story to understand. Yeah, it could be. Maybe she was trying to outdo someone and made a dumb mistake. That's absolutely true, Simba. And so, she sees her physical handicap as a limit or as something that innately puts her behind people from the start. When instead, she needs to learn to look for opportunities elsewhere or find a way to use what she has to great benefit for herself and even other people in a growing up, in a coming to terms style of situation. Her mannerism of enunciating overly clearly could have been born out of communicating with her family, needing to speak clearly in the workshop over the ding ding or the whoosh whoosh of the bellows. She might have just needed to grow up to pronounce her words clearly and use her mouth in an exaggerated form when forming sentences so people can understand her and even read her lips while there's a lot of background noise going on. And she's great with children because she doesn't have siblings. She might really want them. Maybe for some reason siblings just aren't possible economically, or just her parents can't have any more kids for one reason or another. I think there are, just as there's 1,000. What's the movie? 1,000 Ways to Die in the West. There's 1,000 ways to lose fingers in a fantasy world. All right, now once more, we need a name. Now, if you all have names that you just want to throw out there, you can. But there's a fun way that we practiced on our villain to be able to go through and randomly generate a name. This could be a nickname. It could be her actual first or last name. It could just be, I don't know, what the temple called her. It could be her birth name in the temple. There could be like a birth name, but then there's like a given name that your family gives you or something. So why don't we determine that? And Simba, will you please type exclamation point 1d8? And so to do this, it's going to be a 1d8 plus 2 to determine how many letters are in her name. All right, we have 4 letters then, 2 plus 2. So we have 4 letters. Anne, will you please type exclamation point 4d6 in chat? Odds are consonants, evens are vowels. Odds are consonants, evens are vowels. So 6, 4, 5, and 2. We have 1 consonant and 3 vowels. Almost the opposite of what we had for our villain. It's symbolism. The yin and the yang, the consonants and the vowels. This is kind of how Aw got her name, by the way. Not exactly this process, but there's like big Aw energy to this character I'm picking up on. Okay, now the consonant is going to be based on a D20 roll. So let's see. Goblin Town, if you're here, will you please give me a 1d20 roll? One. Okay. It's going to be a B. That is the first consonant of the 20 that remain after we extract the vowels. And then let's call on another newcomer here, Ethereal. Ethereal, will you please type exclamation point 1d6 in chat? Two. That is an E. Right? A-E-I-O-U-Y. Now we have another vowel. Hatter, if you're still here, my friend, I would like some more help creating this character. Will you please type exclamation point 1d6? And then Anne, it looks like you're going to get the final vowel, but let's let Hatter roll first. Oh, Hatter might have stepped away. Anne, go ahead and type exclamation point 1d6. That is a U. And then one more person, Rip Artist. Can I have a 1d6 roll in chat, please? Another U. All right. So everyone out there, you can rearrange the letters. You can add an apostrophe or a hyphen. These are the letters that are going to form a name for our main character. And so, how would you like to call her? Is this a nickname? Is this her temple name? Her workshop name? Is this what her I don't know, only what her friends call her? Only what her family calls her? Still, this is a name that we're going to use for our character. So we have Ubwe, Ebu, or Ibu, Bueu, Ebu, says Rip Artist. Ebu. Did you need like a hyphen in there, like B/EUU? Bo? Bue? Says, hey Karma, good to see you. Ebu? We can get super fancy, kind of going off of what Anne said. You can like combo, you can go Ebu-oo. Ebu-oo. I kind of like Ubo. With a silent B. There's also UB. Now, this is something else. If you want to talk about some form of symbolism, you be you. And what's the story about? Apparently, from the character, it's about learning to be yourself, however you are, including loving and embracing your flaws and your mistakes. So you be you could be a fun name, even a nickname for this character. And that helps us as writers stay on point as well. Because she does need to be herself. She needs to learn about that. And you know what? Even if there's personality or physical flaws or disabilities or whatever, they're still a part of her. And that doesn't mean that she still can't be thoughtful, mindful, successful, and to be a greater person than the petty jealousies that the jealousies and the shortcomings that she faces. Eobu, says Ethereal. Eobu. Ubu silent E. So there's a lot of ways to do this and mix it up. There's happy circumstances like UBU or Ubu, or we can have fun with the pronunciation. Something else to think about. Let's put ourselves in with the or UB. Yeah, just UB. In this fantasy world, do orcs have tusks? And if so, are they lower tusks? Are they upper? Or maybe the orcs have just all sharp teeth? And if that's the case, how might that affect pronunciation and language? For as much as we say, well, I speak Draconic, I speak for those of you who speak Draconic, can you actually speak Draconic having unless maybe you're a Dragonborn, a completely alien physicality to the way you pronounce your words? Because your tongue, your jaw, your nasal cavity, your throat are going to be different. Bue made me laugh because of Bowie and the sailor. Oh, and the sailor villain. Ah, yeah, so like a Bowie. See? Alright, look everyone. Some channels have Owos. Some have Uwus. Technically, we have an Uwu in this channel too. But primarily, we have Iwis. And that stands for It Writes Itself. The story is unfolding before our very eyes. Yep, it stands for It Writes Itself. Because in our workshop, Goblin Town, if you continue to hang out with us throughout this month and beyond into many, many more, I hope you will see this fun but kind of eerie happenstance occur over and over again. We believe in ourselves, we believe in our creativity, and you will find that our worlds and our characters are unlocked effortlessly. And the way to make everything cohesive is not very draining at all. So here we go. This is the foundation for our main character in our story, which might even go on to actually be a series of stories. A series of stories that might grow up with this character, starting out as a bit of a petulant know-it-all kid who's really bitter at her body, and maybe the fact that this future she had was taken from her. But throughout the course of this adventure, maybe the adventure takes a year. Maybe the adventure takes, a lot longer. And kind of like what we see in what the Harry Potter series, that takes you through middle and high school, right? And you watch the kids grow up as they handle tougher and tougher situations. So our very first story can start out following this young, bitter 12-year-old half-orc. And we see where she goes and how she blossoms into whoever she's going to end up being. As she follows the path of the bard, she's sent to school. She's sent to magic school of all places. And along the way, at some point, whenever level 3, maybe that's book 2, maybe that's book 3. I don't know. She's gonna break into what it means to be a Valor bard, in particular. All right, you read about it here. Bards of the College of Valor are daring skalds whose tales keep alive the memory of the great heroes of the past and thereby inspire a new generation of heroes. These bards gather in mead halls or around great bonfires to sing the deeds of the mighty, both past and present. They travel the land to witness great events firsthand and to ensure that the memory of those events don't pass from the world. With their songs, they inspire others to reach the same heights of accomplishment as the heroes of old. And we don't even know who her companions on this adventure will be. Aha.